And thank you so much for coming. Third subterranean spelunking season. This year, as well as last, we at the company continue to believe and state in firm and absolute honesty that we consider the show to be essentially the thing. By this time, we also believe that it is a complete and general consensus that an actor will absolutely destroy himself if encouraged by applause. Yours to our new cabaret student. Why not indeed? Take 5.
All because he didn't want to be petty bourgeois. Daddy used to take him across his knees. Not too easy for a rabbit to do it. He'd say, Roger, now hop to it. Roger, we had the family reputation to think of. Your mother is beside herself again, and don't you have any idea of what the neighbors are saying? Roger, you owe some respect to your elders. You can't go around defying convention this way without doing irreparable harm to the family name. Roger, please. For our sake. Your sake? For God's sake. Go out there and prove you're not a man. So little Roger the rabbit promised that he would cohabit. He said, well, Daddy must know best. A bird has got to fly, and a lemming, yes, a lemming must die. And a rabbit, yes, a rabbit has to pass his rabbit test. But where does one begin? Now I have here.
This evening, Night Heat welcomes back Frank Howard. Frank is paying Night Heat a return visit. He was only too happy and anxious to come back on the program again to face the new charges we've dug up against him. That door is locked, Frank. Now tell us, Frank, exactly what has happened to you since our first interview.
Well, I lost my job, Mike.
That great executive job you had, Frank.
Yeah, I lost it.
That's wonderful.
I thought you'd like that.
That was probably because I mentioned the funds you were embezzling from that orphanage in Baltimore.
Yes, I think that did the trick, Mike. They didn't say, they just threw me out. May I have a cigarette, Mike?
No. Did anything else happen that might be of interest to our viewers, Frank?
Well, they took away my Boy Scout troop.
The Scouts of Den 44.
And the den.
That was probably due to my revealing the guns you were smuggling to the Mau Mau terrorists.
You got a big mouth, Mike. May I have a glass of water, Mike?
No. Did the show create any family problems, Frank?
Well, I did lose my wife, Mike.
You lost Mary, that lovely wife of yours?
And the kids, yeah.
Those two darling children.
3, Mike.
She probably objected to my mention of your mistress.
That probably was it. She didn't say. She just left and took the 2 darling children with her.
3, Frank.
Oh, yeah, 3.
Well, enough of these pleasant memories. At our last interview, Frank, we exposed you for what you are. A crook, a liar, a thief.
And a traitor to my country.
Yes, and a traitor to your country. But that was 6 months ago. And now that you're back on your feet again, let's see what further slander my energetic research staff has dug up on you. Frank, I have here your war record.
Oh, I was with the 85th Field Artillery. Every man in our outfit was proud of our record. We demolished a train depot, 3 armories, and 4 small towns.
That's right, Frank, and then they sent you overseas.
You really got a big mouth, Mike.
It says here in the October 5th issue of the Okapauke Swamp News that you were responsible for raising the funds for the wonderful construction of a $7 million dam in Death Valley.
That's right.
What was the name of that dam, Frank?
Well, actually, Mike, inasmuch as Death Valley is the warmest spot in the United States, the name of the dam was obvious. Hot Dam.
Yes. It is recorded here that construction on that dam cost $1 million, yet
right.
you raised funds amounting to $7 million. Can you tell us, Frank, what you did with the other $6 million?
No, I don't know what I did.
Frank, on April the 5th, 1913.
Oh, let's not go back that far, Mike. I was just a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. A crazy, mixed-up kid.
On February the 12th, 1916.
I was young, Mike, a green kid.
Last May.
People get old and foolish, Mike.
Frank, do you remember Eddie Carbo?
Good old Eddie Carbo. Do I remember? I don't think I know him.
Well, in 1939, Eddie Carbo was shot down in cold blood in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie's body was never found.
That's right.
Last week, my energetic research staff discovered the body of Eddie Carbo in a shallow grave 500 feet beneath the Empire State Building.
Gotta hand it to you, Mike. I never thought anybody would ever dig up old Eddie Carbo. That was 18 years ago.
Well, I must admit, Frank, by the time we got to him, Eddie was in pretty bad shape. Nevertheless, he gave us a full statement.
Did you ever have one of those days?
What is Frank Howard? Some will say he is a murderer and a thief. Others will say he is a thief and a murderer. Whatever Frank Howard is, tonight he is under arrest.
Hey.
And now for the story of J. Robinson Hewlett, American scholar, historian, philosopher, and politician. J. Robinson Hewlett is a fine, upstanding leader in American thought. He is a professor of history at Baylor University. A man who no less an authority than Time magazine called a leader in American politics and one of the pioneers for academic advancement in America. Now tell us, Bob, just how long have you been a communist?
Who is he that stares at me from the little table near the door? I was feeling fine till his eyes met mine. Now my temperature's 104. I can see and hear, but the chandelier keeps swaying. Though my heart's taken wings, I can still hear the things it's saying. Perfect stranger, handsome, charming, as disarming as a morning in May. Perfect stranger, my prince of romance, should I take a chance or run away? Are you the shy one, the sad one, the lost one who needs me, or a sly one who's leading me astray? Once you're no longer a stranger to me, will you have so perfect is the perfect stranger smiling, or is he laughing at me?
Gristides, we met in Gristides by the Jello display where you first came my way and your eyes said, "How's tricks?" Gristides, we were both in Gristides. I was looking for Wheaties, you were looking for kicks. I didn't see you at first, and it seemed as if nothing was wrong. Then our eyes exchanged grins, and 1,000 violins burst into the haunting song. Gristides, pulsating Gristides, where the jars full of jam and the cans full of spam formed a scene of delight. Gristides, devastating Gristides, where a girl's but a pawn and a heart can be drawn like a moth to the light. For all at once you were gone, gone like a fast rolling stone. Christine. Oh, Baron Christine, where the bottle liquors that he'll never be yours, he has gone with the wine. Christine, oh, cruel Christine, where the cans of ravioli were driving me slowly out of my mind. Now I smile and I laugh and I prattle. I may stay quite as gay as an elf, but my heart remains on the shelf in a Christine.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to our monthly meeting of the Poetry Society of America. Tonight we have 4 guests. Miss Abigail Stanton of Worcester, Massachusetts, whose latest volume, Autumn Jottings, is already making small talk. And here beside me is Miss Eve Trotness, poet and instructor at Hathaway College, who will give us a short address entitled The Poet in America is Writing in a Vacuum.
He certainly is.
Not just yet, Miss Trotness. A little later on. And here on my left, we have a real threat, a treat. Miss Ann Bissell, a student at Bennington College, and Mr. Mervyn Dodd, who is not at school at the moment, but is self-employed.
I'm self-employed.
Yes. Our first reader for the evening will be Miss Stanton, who will give us her nature poem, To the Spring. Miss Stanton.
Thank you very much, young man. To the spring. It was in bed we met. Dare I forget the grass which blossomed beneath my bulging eyes, immortal thighs, immortal thighs. Oh, you were bread and I was butter. No, 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 I think that must be wrong. Oh, you were bread and I was... well, it really doesn't matter. You see, the point is, well, it really doesn't matter. I'd better read it, shall I, to be sure? It was in bed we met. The fragrance of the spring seemed to sing everything, and somewhere the tolling of the bells, the burning moment, and I know the glow of medieval lust. Enough! Behold, bespattered with the twisting hills and lakes, the great big bed that Mother Nature makes. Thank you very much.
Now it's time to hear from one of our young poets. Miss Bissell?
The poet in America is writing in a
We're about to hear
vacuum.
from one of our young poets.
Oh. Well, I only thought since you started with Miss Stanton and I'm sitting next to
That's
her.
quite all right, Miss Trotness.
I didn't know you were going to skip around like that.
That's all right, Miss Trotness.
I didn't know he was going to skip around like that.
Miss Bissell, do you mind if I call you Anne?
That's a pretty name.
Well, Anne, you won the first prize in the college division of our Young People's Poetry Contest.
Yes, I was.
We've all heard a great deal about your little quatrain. Are you going to read it to us?
Well, no. You see, I don't know it by heart, and I forgot to bring a copy of it with me. Besides, I don't like to read while there's anyone watching.
Well, I can understand that. A watched poet never boils. Well, Anne, I understand you are an English major at Bennington.
Yes, I major in modern American and British poetry.
Suppose I ask you, Anne, what you think of Pound and Eliot.
Pound, Eliot?
What did you major in before you began to work on poetry, Anne?
Used to major in European history, but I flunked out.
Well, I would say then that European history was your Waterloo, huh?
Waterloo?
It certainly has been nice chatting with you, Anne.
How?
Our next young poet will be Mr. Mervyn Dodd.
Eliot?
Have you brought your poem with you, Mervyn?
Yes, I have.
Waterloo?
We are the youth. We are the drivers of the trucks. We are the drivers of the slag. We toil from dawn till dusk, till dawn, till dusk, till dawn. And you think you can lick us? Ha ha! But that's where you're wrong, you lousy fascisti. You call yourselves big business. But you don't fool me, because I don't scare so easy. And I'm gonna get ya. Yeah, me, Mervyn Dodd.
Mervyn Dodd?
We are the youth, you crummy bastards. We are the youth. You want to know who you are? I'll tell you who you are, you crummy bastards. You're crummy bastards. I am the voice of my community, and I got a song to sing, and I'm gonna sing it. And I'm happy because I'm singing my song. And my song goes, you crummy bastards, I am you.
Well, that certainly was most impressive.
That was wonderful, young man. You have a bright future.
Ah, you crummy bastard.
Our last speaker for the evening was to have been
Was
Miss
to have been.
Oh, I'm
The
very
poet
much
in
afraid, Miss
America
Providence,
is
that Father
riding
Time
in
is
a
going to rob us
vacuum.
of your
Oh,
little
now
talk.
look, I've been sitting here all
Surely
the
you
time listening to
understand, Miss
poetry. I
Providence?
could have done a lot of shopping today.
Well, all right,
The
Mr.
poet
Gerry,
in
Miss
America
Providence,
is
but
riding
the
in a
auditorium has been
vacuum.
rented out past our allotted hour.
To who is it rented out?
I beg your pardon?
I said, to whom is it rented out?
Just resume your stool, Miss Providence, and we'll talk about it a little later on. And now we'll have one last word from each of our poets.
It was in bed we met.
The poet in America is riding in a vacuum.
Vacuum.
We are the youth.
Thank you and good night.
Hi, Bob. How are you? Nice to see you. That's your name.
I had a good time at lunch today. Ran into a girl named Alice Ray. I haven't seen her in years and years, not since college days. Well, we had a few drinks and reminisced. Talked over the number of years we missed. She's living in town now, it appears. Her married name is Hayes. Well, we got so busy talking, one cocktail led to four. We both began to wonder if we'd make it to the door. Oh, it sure was fun seeing Alice again. I laughed so much, can't remember when. We had such a very good time. Oh, we had such a wonderful time.
Great.
See you around.
Bob Smith told me he lunched today and had a few drinks with Alice Ray. Seems I've heard you mention her, knowing her at school. Apparently they tied one on till half of the afternoon was gone. Didn't come back till 3:30, giggling like a fool. Of course the boss was asking just where the hell he was. I said he had a client, as he very often does. Of course it makes it tough on me. If the old man knew I'd lied, then he could make it real tough on me. Make it rough on me. Bob Smith told me he lunched today.
Hello, my dear, and how are you? Oh, nothing much, no, nothing new. Got a new dress in town today. The neckline's awfully low. Well, Albert was telling me tonight Bob Smith from the office came in tight. Had lunch with a girl named Alice Ray. I knew her years ago. I never liked her much at all. She was always awfully wild. Married twice already, and neither chick nor child. I wonder what Mildred Smith would say if she knew that Bob ran around that way. Al said the boss was mad. Oh yes, he was awfully mad.
Bob Smith told me he lunched today. And
Hello, my dear, and how are you?
Annabelle Jones just called to say she heard Bob Smith's in a pretty bad way. Been drinking an awful lot, it seems, about to lose his job. Been running around in town, they say, with some married woman who's awfully gay, as brazen as she can be. Now who'd think that of Bob? Saw Mildred at the store today. Oh, I thought she looked depressed. I guess she's heard about it now. No wonder she's distressed. She said she might go down to see her mother who lives in Tennessee. I guess that means they're through. Yes, I guess that means they're through.
Bob Smith told me he lunched today.
Hello, my dear, and how are you? Oh, Annabelle Jones just called to say.
I hear Bob Smith has gone to pot, lost his wife and his job, turned into a sot. Could hardly believe my ears. It certainly was a shock. Been keeping a blonde in town, they say, and carrying on in a terrible way. Stays loaded, it appears, and put himself in the hop. My wife got it straight from Annabelle Jones. Bob worked without, know. You'd never think to meet the man that's the way he'd ever go. Well, you never can tell, still water runs deep. But you'd never think Bob the type to keep a blonde in a penthouse flat, a doll in a penthouse flat.
I feel so sorry for Mildred Smith. I feel so sorry for Mildred Smith. I feel so sorry for Mildred Smith. Poor Mildred Smith. Poor Mildred Smith. Poor Mildred Smith. Why, Mildred Bob, we were just talking about you.
Really? I must tell you the wonderful news. Bob just got a raise. We're taking a cruise. We're going to Bermuda on our second honeymoon. He brought me this lovely bracelet today to help celebrate his raise in pay. And something else is new. We're expecting a baby soon. We've never been so happy. I just can't help but beam. I certainly have a husband right out of a perfect dream. Oh dear, this almost makes me forget. We've brought a friend you haven't met, our dear friend Alice Ray. May I present Alice Ray?
Likewise, I'm sure.
I always said, I always knew that awful gossip was never true. I always said, I always knew that awful gossip was never true. That awful gossip was never true, was never true. I always knew.
There's a little ranch house in the Vale. Pretty little ranch house up for sale. All the shutters drawn, tenants are gone, and thereby hangs a long, unhappy tale. Unhappy tale. Oh, he caught her in the kitchen playing Westport, a game indigenous to suburban life, where you grab the wife of whom you're not the husband, and someone else's husband grabs your wife. Now some will claim the name of the game is Scarsdale or Beverly Hills or even Shaker Heights, but commuters from Manhattan call it Westport, the game that some of our local leading lights play to while away the long Connecticut nights. Now in our little ranch house used to dwell an advertising fellow and his Nell. Children and a pup, living it up. Everything was sounder than a bell, than a bell. Till he caught her in the kitchen playing Westport, between the washing machine and thermostat. Now the husband thought it really was an outrage. Said he, well, at least you might remove your hat. Now they may play it that way in Great Neck. In Levittown, they'd never think it odd. But there's not an architect in Westport who'd ever forgive the cat who said, my God, sir, I must have had the wrong Cape Cod. Now, since they're no longer groom or bride, quoting from the Sunday Classified, are there any takers for 3 lovely acres of peaceful old New England countryside? They'll sob deeper, 'cause he caught her in the kitchen playing Westport, which ordinarily might be cause for gloom. The sanctity of wedlock's on the downgrade, but housing is enjoying quite a boom, boom, boom. Now they'll defame the name of the game in Boston, where obviously it's called a dirty shame. But in the fertile pastures of suburbia, the local dealers in real estate acclaim it the best thing since the FHA. Hey, Westport is a grand midst pleasures and palaces. Oh, Westport is a grand old game.
When I was much younger, a gypsy asked me what in this wide world I wanted to be. I said not a doctor, a lawyer or such, not even an engineer, not really much. She listened and nodded and said, could it be? Then she looked all around her and whispered to me, have you ever considered witchcraft? I think you might have the knack. You could win everybody's marbles and not have to give them back. It's a wonderful thing to know, my dear, and as sure as us both are sitting here, there's going to be lots of calls this year for witchcraft. If you'd like to consider witchcraft, there's plenty that can be said. Like when Mama says off to bed now, just turn her into lead. It's a wonderful thing to know, my dear, as a hobby or as a whole career. And the field isn't crowded at all this year in witchcraft. So I've a notion to teach you an ancient potion that once caused a big commotion back in the days of Rome. But you can do it at home, all it takes is a little witchcraft. For modestly I can say, oh, witchcraft is what has put me right where I am today. It's a wonderful thing to know, my dear, when the summer is over and fall is here and school begins, you can disappear through witchcraft. It has its dramas. I once conjured beach pajamas on one of the highest llamas that lives over in Tibet, and he's wearing them yet, so you see there's a lot to witchcraft. If some bully down the street might think he would like to scare you, that wouldn't be too discreet. For the minute you're in the know, my dear, and providing there's room in your chiffonier, you can keep his bones for a souvenir through witchcraft. Let there be lightning and thunder and witchcraft.
I'll sing you a song of the cloisters if you hark. I sing of the cloisters in Fort Tryon Park, where I used to go in the month of June to listen to the fiddle of an ancient tune at a concert given in the afternoon by the Pro Musica Antiqua, the Pro Musica, the Pro Musica, the Pro Musica Antiqua. At precisely such a recital I recall, I spied a young man neath an oak tree straight and tall, and we sat together and we spoke no word, but within our hearts something stirred as we listened to old Keegan, Tallis, Purcell and Bird at the Pro Musica Antiqua, the Pro Musica, the Pro Musica, the Pro Musica Antiqua. He invited me to his flat for a cup of tea and a chat, for he said he had a batch of recordings to play of Dubai and Dupree. So what could I say but yes? What a fool I was to go, what an idiot from tippy-top to toe, for behind his face and charming smile lay a motive base and a manner vile. What a fool I was to go, but how could I nonny know? Well, he took me up to his flat as he had said, and he locked the door and he sat on his great double bed, and he looked at me with eyes that lie, and I knew when I saw that look in his eye that he had no recordings of Dupree and Defy from the Pro Musica Antiqua, the Pro Musica, the Pro Musica, the Pro Musica Antiqua. Well, there I stood, I was rooted in my place, as I viewed with dread my deceitful lover's face, for I knew from the lovesick look in his eye he could lay me low with a single sigh. Well, he laid me low and he laid me high at the Pro Musica antiqua. The pro musica, the pro musica, the pro musica antiqua. Now, if you go to concerts on the grass, and you're over fond of GERRY brass, or a Gibbonzel, beware, beware of what may come to pass, of what may come to pass. Now the sound of a concert of viols makes me ill, and the lute and the zither make me sicker still. And every morning at the crowing of the cocks, I wash my face and I comb my locks, and I say my prayers and I put a pox on the pro musica antiqua, the pro musica, the pro musica, the pro musica antiqua. Now, maidens, take fair warning from my tale. Beware, beware of the music-loving male. You may go to the cloisters if you choose, and find enchantment in the muse. But I hate to tell you what you can lose. The pro musica antiqua, the pro musica, the pro musica, the pro
Ladies and gentlemen, recently in jazz circles among the laymen, and of course I use that word here in its most innocuous sense, there have been some questions coming up concerning a comparatively new type of jazz which has risen on the American scene in the last 10 to 12 years. This jazz is called progressive jazz, or bop. Now, the first question that comes into the average person's head when he hears bop for the first time seems to be, huh? And the next question is, where do these modern progressive jazz bop musicians learn to play their modern progressive jazz bop? Mop. Well, in case you're interested, I have the answer for you. Did you know that there is actually schools where bop and nothing but bop are taught? Well, there am. And I know this because recently I attended the first commencement exercise of one of these here type schools, said commencement being commenced by one Professor Daz McSkivens, Vouts O'Rooney, O'Harry the Hipster. Gibson? Now, Professor Gibson did not wear a coat while delivering his address because the room was much too warm and what he'd already had might have worn off too quickly that way. Get off there. So I'd like to take you now in imagination and give you my impression of the professor on this particular day. I wish I brought my body, but I've been sick. Hey, there you go, Mother. Now, that takes care of the valedictory. Now, before we commence the commencement, we're going to have the regular morning exercises, so I want all you cats to rise, turn east, and face Decker. Repeat after me. Platter, platter, spinning slow, Victor 45 must go. Push the switch and pull the lever, Presley can't go on forever. At ease. I want to tell you cats, been a great gig this year. Looked like it was going to be a mess of a semester, but it sure wound up as a solid seminar. Some of you mothers come in here, you have me worried. All you could play was the melody. You wouldn't know a melody now if it hit you in a mouthpiece. And that's crazy, Jim, because I want you to go out of here and blow your top for bop till you can't stop and you drop. Mop. I wish I could continue in this happy vein, but it's all used up. Get off there. So I'd like to change the subject for a minute and bring up something a little less pleasant. You. There's a certain small proportion of this student body, like 98%, been coming into class here with a cachet of sachet from your stashay. I am referring to the serving of tea in the classroom. Sans cups. Oh, yeah, don't deny it. I seen you hiding behind the timpani gaffing with the goof butts. Raise your hand at me, say, hey, teacher, can I walk out of the room? Yeah, you're walking out, but you're flying back in. I know what's happening. You give musicians a bad name. You know why? You ain't doing it right. Let me show you. Now, just for demonstration purposes, let's say this is a reefer. I say, let's say this is, 'cause this is not a civilian cigarette. This is standard gauge M1.
You men will notice the rifling in the barrel here.
Sometimes called progressive Pall Malls, or left-wing Luckies, or Mexican laughing tobacco. This is my own special brand called Nerny Perns. That's spelled N-E-Nuncy. We're gonna light it up now and smoke it two ways. First your way, and then the right way. I want y'all to pay attention, 'cause during this experiment I'm gonna waste a good 3/8 of an inch of this stick, and it ain't easy to get no more. If you want to get this stuff today, man, you gotta go all the way down to Miami, check into a beachfront hotel, open the window, and wait till the hurricanes blow the seeds in from Cuba. So pay attention, and don't breathe in, it's mine. Here we go, Mother Rooney. Your way. The way I'm smoking now is your way. Ain't that a nice way? Yeah, that's a lovely way. You see what's happening, don't you? You're losing it all. Look at it. 2.5 hours of Bally High gone with the wind. Look at it. Remember, of all the instruments, the furnace is the hippest. It's got a draft. If you're gonna get this stuff, man, get it. Get it all. And when you got it, keep your big fat mouth shut and keep it. Let it circulate. And then when you're ready, high noon. Do not forsake me, oh my darling. Now, if you will all turn to page 181 in your federal narcotics books, we'll sing our school song. A little number dedicated to Harvard University entitled Who Hit Ernest Hooten with a Fig Newton? Sometimes known on the West Coast as How Much is Rita in the Hayworth? I don't know. Cement mixer, putty, oodle-coo. Cement mixer, putty,
You pop it down, pop it down.
Cement mixer, putty, a puddly boom, a vinka zoompa. Stop that dancing up there. They were dancing up there, and I said stop, and they did. Cement mixer, putty,
Ever funner.
cement mixer, putty. I got the son in the morning and the daughter at cement mixer, putty. I was walking up the beach the other day by the ocean. That's generally where you'll find a beach. Looking for some ashtrays in their wild state. And this cat come up to me and he said, hey man, I took that as a compliment. Said, man, how do I get to Carnegie Hall? So I said, practice, mother, practice, you'll get there. A little later, this other cat come up and he said, meow. He was a real cat. Cement mixer, putty, can't go on. All my Neanderthals are gone. Leonard Feather, yeah. Cement mixer, putty, a puddly bulla boompa vanka zonto. Class dismissed, mop.
What? You've not heard of Dr. Gonzalez?
He's a brand new psycho psychoanalyst.
With a brand new therapeutic twist.
There's a madness to his method brought here from Spain.
That is absolutely guaranteed to drive you stark staring sane.
Or your head refund.
Listen, and he himself will explain.
This must be the hacienda. 4 couches, no waiting. 4 couches, no waiting.
Help me,
La la
doctor.
la 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 la
Please
la
help
la
me,
la la la.
doctor.
I
Help
can't
me,
sing no
please
more.
help me, doctor. Help me, please help me, doctor. Help me.
I love my husband, but he hates me.
He hates her because he's in love with me.
I have no husband because I love me.
I just have a morbid curiosity.
Help me, doctor. Help me, please help me, doctor. Help me.
Your case is easy as ABC. I clear your trouble up 1, 2, 3. I rid you of abnormality.
Gee.
Just get off the couch and give you listen to me.
Oh, help
La
me,
la 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 la
please
la
help
la
me,
la.
doctor. Help me.
You've heard of the new karaoke.
Yes.
You've heard of the new continental.
Sure.
But we got a new dance for you that is strictly mental. Aha, you can do it anywhere, even there in your chair if you care to.
It's taking the country by storm.
All the misfits we know have it mastered.
It's informal and much more abnormal
Than just getting plastered.
So up on your psychic toes. This is the way she goes.
First, you sublimate your partner to the left, and then you aberrate your partner to the right, and then you regress until you're sick, doing the psychoneurotic.
Then you kick sadistically your partner's chin until she masochistically begins to grin.
And then you regress, but do it quick, doing the psychoneurotic.
You dream while you're dancing.
And if you dream of tall, complex machines,
Get analyzed, boy, you know what that means.
You dream while you're dancing.
And if you dream of diving in a pond,
Your Oedipus is getting much too fond.
Your ego whispers soft to you that you're in love with you.
And you're in love with you.
So schizophrenic, due east and then you marry your Noyak.
Due west, and if your craft is ebbing, don't stop but elevate your Adler to the top.
The weather, due east weather, due west weather, due south weather, due north, we show you due, the psychoneurotic. You dance while you're dreaming.
And if you dream you're dancing with a stare, and Ginger Rogers simply isn't there.
Hey, you dance while you're dreaming.
And if you dance with Henry Luce's wife, that means that you're in love with time and life.
Your ego sings a lullaby. I. So extrovert your partner, due east, and then you introvert your partner, due west.
And if your young is yumping, for yoyin' if your parents horny. Oh boy,
The weather, due east weather, due west weather, due south weather, due north, we show you due, the psychoneurotic. Tick, 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 a ricky tick, 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 a ricky tick, tick, sick, 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 tick.
it's crazy. It's the most. It's the gonest. It's the end. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, off the record, it is the end. Thank you very much.
Psychoneurotic.